Hi, my name's Matt. I work for Wicomico County Emergency Services. Today we're going to talk about a preparedness kit, something that you might need in case of an extended power outage because of a storm or any other reason that you may need to shelter in place in your house for an extended period of time. The things on the table we bought in a brick and mortar store. So we walked right in, we went to a shelf, we took the thing off the shelf, and then we went and paid for it at the register. You can do that too, or you can order some of this stuff online if that's easier. We have some brands here that we are not endorsing, but they worked for what we were trying to do. Whatever brand you prefer is the right answer for you. You may also have some of these things in your house already, and you may have extras of these things. If that's the case, and you can commit one of your extra things to your preparedness kit, that works too. The other thing that we want to stress is that you don't have to buy all of this in one go. If you have a little bit extra this week and you can buy a flashlight, and then maybe next week you buy a tarp, that works really well too. The first thing we're going to talk about is having water on hand. The general rule of thumb is 1 gallon of water per person per day. This is something that's per person instead of per household. Later we'll talk about some things that you need per household, whereas this you need per person. This is used for drinking and for sanitary needs such as bathing. You can need it for pets as well. Whatever you need water for, this is your water in the event that running water is not available. Something else we want to make sure that we have plenty of on hand is food. We want something that can be stored without refrigeration and something that can hopefully be stored in a container that will protect it from pests such as rodents and other varmints, as well as the weather. Here we have food that's in a cardboard box. If I have this on the floor of a pantry and my house floods, the cardboard box will be ruined and the food inside will be compromised. We don't want that. So if we can put this in a container to protect it, that's good. We also want things that won't expire quickly, because if they expire, we have to keep replacing them or risk eating expired food if a disaster happens. We have some milk here that doesn't need to be refrigerated until it's opened. So this is something that we can open when we need it, drink it, and then put it back in an ice chest or something if we didn't finish it all. We have a few different options as far as food that doesn't need to be refrigerated, such as tuna or canned soup or cereal. If you have something that you prefer that you know doesn't need to be refrigerated and has a long shelf life, that will probably work. These are some things that go with food that you're going to want to have, but are more per household than per person. One of those things, if you have cans, is a can opener, because the cans are only as good as your ability to get into them. Some of them have a pull tab, like that can of soup that I had, but if they don't have a pull tab, you're going to want a can opener. That's something to think about and set up based off of what you feel comfortable with for your kit. Something else that you're probably going to want to need is some kind of silverware. We have plastic silverware here, but if you have extra actual silverware that you can set aside, that works very well too. One more thing is some kind of ability to set a fire of some kind. Typically candles, but if you are able to make some sort of fire for cooking, that would work too. We have a candle lighter here, but if you have matches and are comfortable with matches, that works as well. Something else that's important to have, especially if the reason that you need to use your preparedness kit is because of excessive rain in the event of a hurricane or perhaps a nor'easter, is something to keep your clothes dry as you're wearing them. If a hurricane comes through and damages your house, maybe your clothes would get destroyed or affected and you won't be able to wear them because they get messed up. Being able to protect the clothes that you do have, especially as you're wearing them, is important. Not only is it keeping your clothes protected, but it's also keeping you from getting wet yourself, which can lead to all kinds of negative health effects. An easy way to do this is to get a rain poncho like the one that I'm wearing. It folds up very small into this convenient pouch and doesn't take up much space in your kit. You should have one per person so that everyone in your household can be protected in case they have to go out in the rain. Something else that's important to have on hand is a good working flashlight and the correct batteries for that flashlight. If something bad happens at night, being able to see where you're going as you navigate your house is very important. Or if you have to leave the house for some reason, being able to find your way to safety with light is also important. This flashlight can be something like this, where it has a mode where you can see out of the front as well as on the side. This one doesn't have any batteries in it, that's why it didn't light up. But having options like this is a good idea. Or you can get something a little smaller and focus like this. Either way, having the correct batteries on hand is important. If you are going to store them in the flashlight, make sure that you check them every so often to make sure that they don't corrode. It's important to use a dedicated flashlight instead of your cell phone because you may need to use your cell phone for other things, such as checking for information regarding the disaster that happened or making emergency calls to emergency services or to loved ones. Something else to consider is having a power bank to keep your phone charged. This isn't a permanent solution because there's a finite amount of battery in the bank as well, but it'll help keep your phone charged longer. Things to consider are making sure that you have the right bank for your phone and that the electrical components are compatible, but also making sure that you have cords to plug your bank into your phone. This one has a few built in, but it might not come this way. Just understand what you bought and how to use it. The other thing is being able to plug it into the wall to charge it ahead of time. This one has a plug directly on the back of it. This one doesn't. It all depends. This one is solar, so that you can keep recharging it even if power goes out for an extended period of time, which in the event of a disaster like a hurricane is not unlikely. This is a good reason to only use your phone for important things like finding out information about if there's an evacuation to be had, or where to go for supplies, or calling loved ones to find out if they're safe. This is another reason not to use your phone as a flashlight because it will deplete the battery and you won't be able to use it if you don't have a way to charge it later. Using one of these is also the best way to charge your phone if you can't plug it into the wall. Some people may advocate for charging your phone in your vehicle, but the problem there is that it will deplete your car battery and the gas you have in your car, which you might need later if you have to leave the area in your vehicle. Something else that's good to have is a first aid kit. This way, if you have a minor injury during the event of a disaster, you can take care of it yourself. This means cuts and scrapes, not necessarily things like broken bones or things that are more serious. In that event, seek professional help as quickly as you can. First aid kits are good, but something else you need to keep in mind is expiration dates. In this one, there are isopropyl alcohol pads that can dry out and get brittle. The other thing that can happen is the adhesive on your bandage, on your band-aids, will lose its stickiness and then they won't work as well. Another thing to consider when getting a first aid kit is if there are any special needs that you know are going to apply to you, whether it's medications that you need to keep track of or things like that. This is also scalable. If you live by yourself, you may not need as much as if you were a family of 5. The other thing to think about is pursuing training. There's a triangular bandage here, but if you don't know how to use a triangular bandage, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. First aid classes and/or stop the bleed classes are fairly easy to find. 2 other things that are important to have is a roll of duct tape and at least 1 tarp. If you have a hole in your roof and the tarp is bigger than the hole, you can use the tarp to cover the hole, or if you have a broken window, you can use the tarp to cover the broken window. The applications of duct tape are almost limitless. You can use it to tape something back together or repair clothing in a pinch if it's ripped. If you use these 2 things together, you can secure the tarp with the duct tape, and in some cases you can even use the duct tape to waterproof things so that it will keep the elements outside. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is that you need to protect your important documents as well. A good way to do this is by putting them in a weatherproof bag like this one. Things to put in here would include copies of your insurance information, the deed to your house, your car title, any kind of medical information that you need protected, and making it protected from the weather, like in a bag like this, means that it won't get water damage. A lot of those things are very hard to replace, and if you can avoid that, that's the best thing to do. This bag has a checklist on it of things that you could put in here, and then it seals at the top, and then this can go directly in your preparedness kit. If you want one of these bags, you can call our office at 410-548-4820 to arrange getting one. So those are some things to think about for putting in your preparedness kit. Like we said, we're not endorsing any brands. These are just some examples of what you could use, and you don't have to buy it all at one time. You can piecemeal it and buy a little bit at a time until you have a complete kit, and you can buy it online or you can go into a store. We talked about what to prepare with, but not necessarily how long to prepare for. We tell people between 5 and 7 days, so that way if there's a massive disruption to the infrastructure, that gives time to get things back online. If you have any questions about this kit or how to build one of your own, we have some information on our website. The other thing you can do on our website is sign up for emergency alerts so that you can get notified about things such as road closures, if there's a flood emergency in your area, tornadoes, or any other manner of weather event that you might need to take action for. Other than our website, the other way to get in touch with us is by giving us a call at 410-548-4820. Thanks and stay safe.